Hey, it's Blast Miner Dad here with a video showing you our Towny server and a how-to video on how to make a town in Towny server. Of course, this is based on our server on builders.mcpro.co, but it also works in any kind of Towny server that's running Towny 1.8. So the first step in this is I'm actually going to be running a Technic pack. So if you've been running Minecraft for a while, you're probably familiar with the Technic pack launcher and the way it works. You go and you pick a pack and then you launch it, and that way it edits your Minecraft on its own. So the pack that I'm using is called the Simple Pack 1.8, and the way I got this to work is I go here to options and I had to download a new version of Java. I'm running 1.8 Java 64-bit. That's not 1.8 Minecraft, it's actually the version of Java is 1.8, and then I also turned the memory up. I know I have over 8 gigs of RAM in my computer, but I just put this at 4. It needs more than at least a gig, all right? And there's a major reason why you want to run a client UI visual pack when you run Towny and making a town, and I'll show you that when we get in it. So let's go ahead and start it, and it will come up and play. So once you load up, you can go ahead and go to our server, and I already have it sitting right here. This is the address builders3.mcpro.co, and then you grab into it. You could join this with any vanilla Minecraft 1.8, and this Technic pack will work with any vanilla server. But what it does give me is some fancy options right now. I could turn shaders on if I want, so go ahead and do that. So here, let's turn shaders on. And let's say the really good ones, the Sues, yeah, Sonic Ishers, Unbelievable, Wonderful shaders, okay? And when you launch into our server, you notice that there's actually some quick warps right by the spawn. This is the spawn, and I placed these so that way you can get to the different worlds in our server and go to your home and go to your town and go back very easily, so that way people don't have to walk really far to go places. Otherwise, you could walk into the individual worlds. So the purpose of this video is I'm going to show you how to make a town in Towny. Like most servers, at least in the start of the server right now, you have enough money in your account in order to make a town because it does cost you money. However, I would really recommend you just being a resident at first, and that means just getting a plot in someone else's town. But over here, I've got some command signs that you can do some different commands with. One is check your balance, it's just /bal. You get $30,000 to start with. You can see who's a resident around in your resident area. Of course, I don't have any residents because I don't have a town. I also don't pay any taxes yet because I don't have a town. You can show your friends, which are people that have permissions to come into your plots, right? You can leave your town, which I don't have, and you can spawn to your town, which I don't have either because I don't have a town. All right, now this is the mayor bank. This is on the mayor side. So here we can see of nations. Of course, I don't belong to any yet. There is one nation right now. The way this works is that you first start out, you're just a regular user like me. I don't have a house, I don't have a town, I don't have a plot. You can get a plot in any town, you can get an embassy plot in any town, or you could make yourself a town and be a mayor, or you can be a king of a nation. And a king of a nation has multiple towns inside, all right? So from here you can do different things. You could deposit in your town bank, you can withdraw it from your town bank, list all the towns, list all your residents, the prices of your towns, things like that. So this is right now, this is the Towny prices. So it costs $25,000 to buy a town right now in our server. It costs $100,000 to make a nation. And anybody can do this. I'm running the server right now as a basic user, as anybody that would jump onto our server today. All right, so let's go through the steps of what do you want to do first. So the first thing is let's go look at a town, all right? So let's go look at, I know that, let's see, town list, all right? And I want to go look at town spawn Arbiter City. Okay, so we can now warp to the town. So this is his town spawn. Hopefully his horse didn't run away. Oh, yeah, his horse sort of did run away. Sorry about that. He shouldn't put his horse in there. I think the gates were open. horse mod I got out. But see, you can see you walk through these are by chunks of a different plot. And as I walk through, you can see if they're for sale or not. So if you don't have a town, you can always go to an embassy plot and buy an embassy plot. So that's what I did right here. I own this embassy plot. So when I walk over to this chunk, this is an actual Minecraft chunk. And when I walk here, it says my name. So I can put things in this chest, and the only person that can actually get the items out is either me or the town mayor, which is the way you would want that. All right. So here, Arbiter is making different plots, and you can see how they're in chunk sizes. So once you get the plot set up, like the first plot, and then make the square with it, it's actually pretty easy to do this. But one of the other main reasons why I'm using this mod is that you can view the chunks. So here, it's actually, the key to do this is F9, which is, of course, the same key that I'm using for my video software. So it's probably going to have a little pause here. But let me push F9, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Here it is. I pushed F9, and you can see I've got like a green squares and red laser beams. Those are on the edges of chunks right now. So as I walk to another chunk, I get this. So when you're first making your town, this mod pack, or a mod pack that has a user interface and a client mod for Minecraft, is really useful because of the way Towny works, because you don't get any kind of visual clues other than, say, pushing F3 to get, all these stats to look where the chunks are. But basically, after your first plot, it becomes a lot easier. So I've got this embassy plot, and you can have an embassy plot and also still have a town. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a town. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spawn back to spawn. Okay. And then I'm just going to go in the Towny server, so I can either click that sign or walk into the Towny server. All right. And what I want to do is find an area to make a town. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Towny map. And what that command does is it brings up a little text map. And what that map shows is it's showing where the town plots are. So it could be that somebody builds a town in here, but doesn't actually have anything built on it yet. And so what this little map does here is it shows you right here, this is you, and these are by chunks, and as you're walking around, who has something. So it looks like nobody has claimed any of this land here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a claim. So when you do this, you spend that $25,000 the minute you do this. So don't mess up. If you go and you delete your town after this, it's not going to come back. Okay, you don't get the money back, and that's going to be basically on any server that you get that has Towny. So you make a town, be advised, you delete that town, you don't get that money back. All right, so it's one of these things you got to be really sure of what you're doing. So don't make the town like near the spawn, near the hub. You also don't really want to make a town near someone else's town, because as your town grows, you can only claim blocks that are next to the other blocks in your town. They call it an adjacent block. It means it has to be right next door to it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new town. So what I have to do is run this command town new, and then I have to give it a name because it says specify town name. So I'm going to say town new BMD. Okay. So I created a new town called BMD, and it's actually made this block. It's there. All right. So if I walk out of that chunk, it disappears, right? And you see that it says wilderness PvP is on, or if I go into my settlement, it's there. But I don't see the chunk. I don't have any visual clues of where the chunk is, and that's why I like this mod pack. So let me go ahead and I'm going to push F9. I'm going to do it twice. All right, so I did it twice, pushed F9, and now I get these chunks, so I can see where my chunk is. So if I walk over here, you see, then now that's a block I can claim. Okay, so it's just, I really like this mod for when you're at least starting out on Towny, so you can see where your chunks are. All right, so now this is a completely claimed spot. So if I walk in this other chunk right here, and I say Towny map, I should be able to see that's my house right there, my home, and that's claimed, and so now I can claim this block, this chunk adjacent to it. In Towny they call it blocks, but they're really a Minecraft chunk. So you could do town claim. However, it's not going to work because it's going to say, oh, you need to buy a claim block, even though I think I should have money. See, if I say bow to look what I have $5,000, so why is it not buying that? The thing is you have to deposit your money in the town bank, all right? in order to do this. So there's two ways in which you could do that. There's those signs that we had back at the hub world, the spawn, or of course you could just use the command. So it's town deposit and then a dollar figure. So I'm going to say I'm going to put $4,000 in the town bank. So the town bank is where your taxes get collected, where people will buy plots and that money gets collected there. Okay, the only people that can take money out of that town bank is the mayor and then say an assistant. That's somebody that you appoint to say manage your town for you. So it's basically the mayor, and that's it. All right, so here I'm over here now. I should be able to claim that block. So it's a town claim. All right, so it says be patient. The plots will become available soon. It's working on it. So again, if I walk over here, and it should still say home, it doesn't change. So if I walk to the next block, see it's wilderness. All right. So I just now claimed that block. So now I've got another Minecraft chunk, and I can keep doing that. So if I look at my town balance, and you could do that by just doing town, then it should say $3,750. All right. That took that $250 out of my bank. And to buy that chunk. So here's one of the negatives about the shaders mod. Man, when it gets dark, I can't see anything. I don't know about y'all, but the colors go away, and I just can't see anything. So maybe it might be a good idea right now to kind of show you a little bit else around the town, because this is the towny world, and there was a message when you get in saying, please don't gather here. It's not a good idea to just totally decimate this world, because this is the world that's going to stay the same forever. It's going to be backed up, and all that. It's gonna have itself backed up to tape and always be all time. So what we did is we made two different worlds in here just to gather, and these worlds will get reset fairly often. So this is very similar to other servers, and so there's one called the Mines and the one called Nether. And they're basically the same thing, just one is a nether so that you could sit there and gather stuff from the nether, and then there's an overworld that you can gather blocks here. So this is the worlds that you are made to gather things. So here I can drop in here and get to this world, and I can gather things here, right? And so I gather the stuff here, then I can take it back to my town. So either if you did a set home, if you set your home, what I did is actually set my home to my embassy plot. So if I do /home, I go, this is back to my embassy plot, because that's what I was using before I had a town. Or I could just do town spawn, and I go back to my actual town. So here's my town, which of course you can't see anything, but that's my town. Oh, there's a creeper somewhere. You can see it over there. But again, this is why it's very, very handy to have these signs right here, right at spawn. So if I do spawn, all those worlds are right here, the main worlds to get into, as well as my town, the go back and to go home. So go back is essentially you go right back to where you came from last time. So if you did back, you do back, and you go back home, right? I really like go back, but I found that this is extremely useful for a server. So that way you kind of use this as your own little hub, and then if you want to get to the other items in the hub world, you just kind of walk to it, the bank right here. And then the shop, this is where you're going to be able to buy and sell different kinds of blocks right here. So we go through here, and as I gather items, I can go ahead and sell it to these sell shops in order to get things. Now, we do have chest shop on the server, which is nice. And I'll show you an example of this. In that Towny, you can set certain plots to be different things. Like Arbiter has an inn. So it's going to say spawn city. Go ahead to his town, and he turned mob spawning off. The mobs can't attack you in here, and that's set by the mayor. The mayor sets that. The mayor also sets if there's PvP, sets if there's fire damage, things like that. But there's a thing called an inn, so you can have an inn. This is the inn right here, where you can sleep, and I believe it charges you some money to sleep in his inn too, which is quite cool. And there's also a thing called a shop plot. So it's a specific type of plot you can set to just be for shopping. All right, so that way the other plots, shops are disallowed. A user, like if you bought a shop in here, like a regular plot, you bought the plot in here, you couldn't put a shop in it. But on this plot, you can. The reason why these are separated is that way you can charge more money for someone to buy this plot. So they can buy this plot and then put their chest shops up here and have that sitting over like typically near where the town spawn is. So all the shops are kind of right by the town spawn area, and it's just a quite nifty thing to do. And again, it's part of this whole kind of RPG interactive town thing, and it's been fun. It is complicated to learn Towny. I mean, I gotta say, it is complicated. But as you get to it and start learning how to do this and having some fun with it, okay, Pony, let's get you back in there. Arbiter's gonna be really mad that you're running out. Come on, back in there. But as you learn how to play Towny, it can allow you to do all kinds of nifty things that instead of an admin doing, that the mayor, which is you, can set all of these things. You know, can set if PvP is allowed, can set if a shop is allowed, and it's per mayor. And the mayor has automatic abilities to do that. And also the ranks, like your ranks on the screen, instead now we've gotten rid of ranks. The ranks are actually towny ranks. So you rank up by having more residents in your town, by having a bigger town, or by having a nation, and you become a king. Alright guys, that's all I have for this video. So I might to continue this and maybe do a little bit more extras on how to do Towny. So I hope you like this and give our server a try and let me know if you have any issues. Alright, bye!